It happens all the time. I was Mexican, and I'm not Mexican anymore. I'm Mexican American. And I was Mexican, and I'm an immigrant. And I realize now that I spend more years living here in the United States than in Mexico. And I think we just have to admit that you can be from two countries, and at some point, you don't have to decide. In other words, you don't have to choose in between Mexico or El Salvador or Colombia or Venezuela and the United States. You can be actually from two countries, and that's perfectly fine. I have two passports, from Mexico and from the United States. I can vote in Mexico and the United States. And I'm fine with that double identity. Sometimes might be confusing to some people, but it is not confusing to me anymore. Once I remember talking about this with Isabel Allende, the famous Chilean writer, and she told me that after 9/11 she realized that she was both from Chile and from the United States, and that she didn't have to choose. And many of us decide to become American, and is there anything more powerful and beautiful than choosing your own country and that country chooses you at the same time? That experience is something that you can't find, I'm sure, in most of the world. It's something uniquely American. In the last election, 2012, about 12 million Latinos went to the polls. In 2016, about 16 million Latinos will go to the polls. And there's a new rule in American politics, and it's beautiful. It is that no one can make it to the White House without the Hispanic vote. And this is new. It wasn't true in the past. In the past, still Bob Dole, the Republican candidate in 1996, decided not to talk to the Hispanic media and to the Spanish language media because he didn't think it was important. He lost. And after that, every single Republican and Democratic candidate have decided to talk to the Hispanic media and to Spanish language media because they know the importance of the Hispanic vote in a very close election, and the next election is going to be very close again. Latinos will decide, 16 million votes will decide who's going to be the next president of the United States. And it started in the year 2000 when just about 500 Cuban American votes decided that George W. Bush, with the help of the Supreme Court, was going to be president of this country. And then George W. Bush got 44% of the Hispanic vote in 2004, and Barack Obama in 2008 got 67%, and then 71% in the year 2012. So it is incredibly important, and what we are realizing is that for the first time, we can get something in return for our vote. And the Latino vote will never be the same. In the past, they could ignore us. Now they have to take into consideration that we are an important part of this country. At this point, unfortunately, what I'm seeing is much more polarization. I am discouraged and frustrated when I see that there's no possibility of real politics, of compromise in Washington, and that Democrats and Republicans are fighting for what seems to be a different country. So what I'm seeing in the future, in the next few months, in the next 19 months during the campaign, is much more polarization. And at the end, this country is going through an incredible demographic revolution. This country is becoming much more diverse, multi-ethnic, multiracial, and that means that no one is going to be the majority. And when you have a country without a majority, democracy has to work. And at this point, the system isn't working. At some point, we're going to have to find a way of negotiating and realizing that despite our differences, the only way to do something is putting together Democrats and Republicans, and that, at this point, I'm not seeing.